Okay, here's another duality that women today are conflicted with, are struggling, and are trying to figure out where they fit in between the two. Okay? When you have a society that is dying and reproducing, and they are encouraging you to reproduce and have children, and they are encouraging you as a woman, and men too, because men have an expectation and an encouragement to be a father, a breadwinner, and to maintain the finances in the house, while the woman is now playing this dual role of being a Madonna, which is the pure mother who does no wrong and doesn't say anything out of line and is respectful and submissive, to then being the whore side of it, where the men have to have their needs met and have to have a woman who's, what is it, polite in the streets and a freak in the sheets type of thing. And this comes from the mainstream media, it comes from movies, it comes from books, it comes from politics, religion, and science. And so we have women right now. Just look at your Facebook, check out all your friends and family, look at how they are portraying themselves. Okay? You see some of the women that are all like showing their booty shorts and their boobs and they're sexualizing themselves all over the internet. And then you see them do a switch at some point and they get married. And now being married and having children legitimizes their Madonna side. So, and that's what you see on Disney, watching the Disney stars. They grow up in this Madonna type and then they turn into, yeah, some sex bomb. And then they revert, then when they have children, they revert then to a Madonna. Not Madonna like a virgin, and she took that whole and twisted that crap, like seriously. I'm talking about like Madonna like Jesus, Mother Mary of God type of thing. And so it's an archetype that's imposed upon the women. And so these women who are now being manipulated, genetically manipulated, and so they have imbalances. And then there's guys out there that have been also genetically manipulated. The circumcision causes trauma to the penis and then causes them to be very addicted to getting theirs. They want a woman to be a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets. And so these poor women out there are trying to figure out how to play these roles. And then when roles change, these men don't know what to do with themselves, much less to do with their marriages. And so that's kind of like the setup to fail in our system when it comes to relationships and family and marriage and boyfriend and girlfriend, because of those conflicting dualities that both men and women are very confused on what is normal. And so on the Jilly Juice, those of you that are doing it and staying on it, you're going to see your biochemistry change and you're not going to buy into the Madonna whore duality. But you'll see it in your friends and family. You'll see, those that used to be like all loosey goosey, now that they're married and have kids, now they're all like, oh, I'm a pure of heart. I'm pure. I'm a good person. I'm a mother. I don't do anything bad. It's such a trip. It's so predictable. As soon as you have kids, man, you are now you're credible to be now this Madonna, this goddess of purity and light. And you're still dying anyways. But you had to be something of a freak of some sorts. Not all the time, because there are some men that will go find that Madonna somewhere and marry her and then wonder, where's all the excitement in their relationship? I want to have some. And so then these men go out and find other women that will fulfill their needs. You've seen it back in the 1700s, right? The medieval times. They had the those women that were whores and they also were educated. I didn't call them concubines, but there was another name for them. I forget what it's called. But they were able to go and compete intellectually with the men in the world, the men in their kingdom. But they were also whores. But they were taught all the different knowledge that the men were able to learn. And then the wives at home were these Madonnas. And it's an archetype. And it's being sold through Disney. It's being sold through all the different movies and TV and politics, religion, and science. And so at some point when you're on the J Juice, you're going to see all of these different archetypes. You're going to see all these different expectations that are put on to these young girls. And now these young girls are so confused that they think the only way to get a man is to show off their body, to wear booty shorts. And guess what? They are attracting the wrong attention. And then we have this human trafficking. And you wonder why we have an explosion of sexual deviancy when you are turning your young girls into this confusion of a Madonna whore type of duality. And then to legitimize and have you erase that whorish type of persona, then when you have a kid, you're not a whore anymore. Now you're a Madonna. It's a trip. Now I'm not saying that women are whores that do, but I'm just saying that's the metaphor. That's the programming, the category that girls in our society are being forced to deal with, and the guys and the girls in our society impose upon each other, even at a young age. Teenagers at school is where it comes out, because you have some girls that are very conservatively dressed and they're being made fun of by the girls who are all like flaunting everything and finding ways to attract the boys, and they're popular. And why are they popular? Because they are eliciting a specific pheromone that the boys are responding to. It's all chemistry. And then when you have biotech going in and messing with the genome and doing the circumcision, they make even more, hypersexual our guys. And then these guys are then having, relations at a very early age, expecting that from their girlfriends. And then there is this tug of war of what is supposed to be normal in a relationship. And so that's why there's probably, more than just 50% divorce rate. There's probably like 80% divorce rate because of that duality that's being forced upon kids as well as adults. No one's evolving at a higher point of intellect. No, it's all still baser level instincts. But that's how you keep a population enslaved, is when they don't realize their full potential and they're working from a cattle chattel type of platform where it's like an animal. You get you breed animals, you breed humans, and you have to keep them at a certain level of existence, of which then it's all baser level archetypes. My knight in shining armor to, but even women who are independent, who don't want a man, which I understand, they're still stuck between the two worlds, to where, they realize that there is still in that dichotomy of being this independent woman that doesn't need a man. So she's rejecting those girls that do, are with men. And so it becomes then this duality of, I'm an independent woman and no more patriarchal society. And so you become a man hater, and that's another controlled opposition. And so then you have these different factions fighting each other because of how our society messes with the biochemistry, causing all these different categories and archetypes and biochemical reactions and fluctuations. And then now you're looking at the girls and the guys in our population, the young teenagers who don't even know anymore what is normal, what it's supposed to be. And so that's why there's probably human trafficking on such a higher level, because we have bred that type of duality into our children. And if you don't see that, just go look at all your friends and family. I mean, I think having kids is great, but it is being used as a way to legitimize, in a lot of ways, your standing in the community? What are you teaching your children? How are you going to make the future vastly different than what you grew up in? Not revolving in the same dichotomies and the same dualities and the same whatever, but how are you going to now say, hey, do we have to have that unset expectation that a girl and a guy has to fall within a certain amount of categories, 2 or 3 or 5? Does not getting a man and getting a man have to even exist? Because that's what's going on. It's like, oh, if you don't get a man, then you're a man hater. But if you do get a man, you're a man depend upon or whatever. And there's those two dualities that are fighting each other yet again. Why does even that have to come up to fight against or to support? Why does that? Why can't people just hang out together, be companions without these expectations to fit in a specific expectation and category? And then where is the fulfillment of human relations and people bouncing ideas off each other and evolving without this expectation to rebel against companionship or to take on companionship only to then be stuffed into an expectation, a very tight expectation? There's got to be a different way where humans can relate without having to fall into the rejection of a model or the embracing of a model. And so, yeah, the Madonna whore duality is huge in the millennials. It's huge in even the ones that are being raised right now by the millennials. They're gonna be fit. They're gonna be put. They're gonna be pigeonholed into a specific archetype. And right now, archetypes are very confused at this point because there's so much manipulation in the genome that it's gonna be hell for some people. And so that's why Jelly Juice is so important, is to finally get the biochemistry aligned where that isn't even something that person's going to consider. But yeah, they'll be exposed to it. They'll see it, but hopefully there's a higher evolved parent that will take them out of those dualities. What that's going to look like, I have no idea, because I don't know any parent yet that has given this to their kid, where their kid is, where they're able to articulate how their kid on J Juice is different than this kid who has fallen into those different archetypes. So that's what I offer to those of you that have children, is how can you get them out of those archetypes of what you see on like Heathers, the movie where it's the cafeteria scene, everyone's all in their respective corners, or like the Breakfast Club, same thing. But I mean, yeah, the remote learning might help a little bit, not being pressured into a specific category, but still, those categories are still being thrown at you through the movies, through TV, through books, through video games. I mean, your kids are being programmed intentionally by all the different modes of communication and media and school and all of that. So there's got to be a way where they still can be exposed to all that, but they're able to have now a choice not to take part in that. And that's what I'm really trying to get you guys that have kids that are doing the J Juice, is to give your kids a choice not to fall into those modalities, those ways of relating to other humans. You don't need to be a savior. You don't need to save this person. They take care of their body, mind, and spirit. Be as balanced as you can. Really look for satisfaction in the intellect, in higher evolved ways of thinking, not baser instincts of how often can you pluck your hormones at any given time. There's got to be a different way to evolve than what we are experiencing right now. And I just offer that for you to consider that. All right, bye.